Hey, it's Tricia Robinson. Good evening. How are you? So earlier today I posted that I was all fired up about something. And for those of you who don't know, I am the PTO president at one of the local schools here in Danbury, Connecticut. And if you are in Danbury, go ahead and drop a 1. I'd like to know how many people in Danbury are paying attention to this. So here's the deal, folks. And if you're not in Danbury, Connecticut, and you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and just hit replay. Here's the deal, folks. I have a huge passion for education. Clearly, I spend my time at the school a lot as the PTO president. Plus, I love my kids' school and I love my kids. So the fact that I volunteer excessive hours there is because I care about the school and I want to make a difference. Danbury, Connecticut is currently ranked last place out of 169 districts in the state of Connecticut. We are spending less than $13,000 per student compared to over $16,579 on average for the state of Connecticut. So if you are living in Connecticut right now, there is a high chance that your district is spending substantially more money on educating your kids than in Danbury, Connecticut. Now listen, I don't want to leave Danbury, Connecticut. I love this place. I love my community. I'm not blaming the city of Danbury, but we have a messed up funding system. If someplace, Cornwall, Connecticut, can spend $36,000 per student, and Danbury can spend less than $13,000. So what is going on here where one small city can spend substantially more money on educating their kids, and Danbury, which is around the 7th largest in the city, can only spend less than $13,000 per year? You're kidding me. You're telling me that one city should be spending 3 times more per student? And here's what's going on. Now, I'm not an expert. I've gone to several meetings, but clearly I'm not an exact expert on this. What happened years ago is they created some fancy formula that determined what it would take to how the state would fund the Connecticut education. And what they didn't take in consideration as that populations change. And in Danbury, we've had a huge influx of people. And I love Danbury and I love the population of Danbury. But what's happening is we have several families living in single family homes. And so even though the population has skyrocketed, the revenue associated with people has not substantially increased because more families are sharing homes. And so we have the student population that has had huge growth while the rest of Connecticut is shrinking. And what this formula had said is, once you get this much money, you get to keep all the money. So even though the students are leaving your town, those districts, they either have really strong representation or nobody really cares about Danbury because they're keeping all the money and all the students that are coming into Danbury are missing out. So here's what I want to tell you that, first of all, I'm going to be on this crusade. It's just going to happen. I'm very passionate about this. I feel like I'm living in a situation and my kids are getting cheated as much as I love Danbury. I love my kids' school. The teachers are amazing. But they are doing everything they possibly can on a shoestring budget so that the kids aren't impacted. And guess what? Kids are impacted. I am a kindergarten interventionist because they got rid of 5.5 people at my kids' school this year. 5.5 bodies are out of my kids' school. And yeah, we are feeling the pain. And me and another friend are actually helping kindergarten students out so they don't get left behind. But if we don't have more people going to our local state representatives, going to our local council meetings, writing letters, advocating for our Danbury schools, dude, we are in for a real shock across the entire state of Connecticut. Because you can't underfund a huge portion of our state and overfund everybody else. What do you think is going to happen to our state? It's not just about Danbury. It really is about how this impacts the entire state of Connecticut. So I applaud those districts that have been able to keep their money. I'm happy for you. But districts like Danbury that are over nearly $4,000 below the average, $4,000 per student below the average, who can't look at that and say there's a problem? What is wrong? Why can't we do something about this? So, hey, I'm Facebook friends with some of my local representatives. If you happen to be watching this, you're going to see a lot of me. You're going to see a lot of me. I'm going to be driving to Hartford. I'm going to be going to local council meetings, because if something is not done about this, our schools are going to be in an even worse world of hurt. We have got to find a change. So, I know I'm on my soapbox about education, but I want to tell you how, as a parent, maybe you're not in my situation. Maybe you're getting all the funding you need for your kid, but when you're in last place, you got it. You can't just let that. That can't be okay, all right? But I want to give you an example of something that happened recently in my past, that by being a strong advocate for our school, we were able to make a change. So a couple years ago, they decided they were going to get rid of a policy at our school. It was called sibling preference, which basically means that if one child gets in, the next child have preference to be able to get into the school. It's a magnet school. We get like 1,000 people applying for 60 spots. So they decided, our Board of Ed decided to take it away. We advocated and advocated and advocated, and we were able to get them to hold off on the decision through parent involvement, by going to the Board of Ed meetings, by just advocating for it. Luckily, we got a stay, okay? At a next board meeting the following year, it was taken away. And I was totally crushed. I was like, oh, I worked so hard to get them to not do this. And they took a break. They took a break. But then I was crushed. And my friend Rachel decided she was going to take this thing and she was going to run with it. Now, she got a lot of help, but she put in an insane amount of effort. She started a petition. We got a whole bunch of signatures. She went to her local representatives. She talked to state representatives. She advocated. I know I spoke to the Board of Ed 8 or 9 times. We got other parents to speak to the Board of Ed. We got the principal to speak to the Board of Ed. We did everything we possibly could do. We in fact actually advocated during election season for new Board of Ed members based upon what their position was with respect to sibling preference. We literally decided who we wanted to support. We weren't negative, but we decided who we wanted to support based upon their position. Guess what happened within 2 months of the new board being elected? I think it was 2 months, maybe it was 3 months. And over a year's worth of effort, we got the decision reversed. But it doesn't, and it's not easy. I mean, oh my God, one vote created over an entire year's worth of effort from parents going to meetings, showing up, writing letters, doing petitions. But if you care enough about something, you got to put the effort in to make a difference. And I'm coming for you, state reps. I got to tell you this. I respect all the work that you're doing, but Danbury cannot be left behind. Our kids cannot be left behind. We have got to do something. And if you're listening to this broadcast, I hope you understand that I mean it with love. I've lived here for 11 years. I don't want to leave here because my kids aren't getting a good enough education, because I believe in our teachers, but we cannot do this to them anymore. We cannot. Somebody has to stand up for our students and our teachers and our administrators, because being in last place and being $4,000 below the state average is not acceptable. And if you think it is, you've got another thing coming, and I'm gonna get an entire group of parents with me to write letters, to advocate for our students, because we gotta make a change. And if it takes an army of people to make that change happen, I'm going to be helped leading that army, because I believe in our Danbury schools. So I sure hope that if you're a Danbury resident or even in the state of Connecticut, you can understand that we cannot let this happen any longer. We have got to make a change. We have got to make it equitable for our students. We need to do something to make sure that our students have a fair shot. Because guess what? A lot of people are moving to Danbury, and it's not for the education system. I don't know why they're moving here. I mean, I love our school. I love where I am right now. But we got to do something, and I want to do something, everything I possibly can do to help our education system get the funding it needs to at least provide an equitable education from across the state. So I invite you to join me. If this is something that you're open to being a part of, drop a comment, send me a private message, let me know you're in. Type in, I'm in, because I need help. It's not just a Tricia Robinson crusade. It's got to be people that live here, that care about our Danbury students, that want to make a change. You don't have to be the voice. I'm okay doing a lot of the speaking, but I need more bodies in the audience so they can feel our presence, so that we can really impact change here in Connecticut. So thank you so much for watching today. And again, if you know anybody who needs to hear this, if you're living in Danbury or Connecticut and know other people need to be aware of what's happening with our education funding dollars, please share this broadcast to them. I know we have a meeting here in Danbury on Thursday that I would love for you to be a part of. It's run by the Connecticut Funding Project. And I will share more information with you, all right? Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching. I appreciate and love you. Have a great night.